Ouch. Rocks. This baby is so lucky I haven't dropped her with all the stuff I've stuffed.
Guys, hello and welcome to Skycurser Daily number 85. Today we are going to be working on some more boss scripting. We're going to be working with Julio mainly and see how far we can get with him and his scripting. I actually think we're pretty close to having him completed. So we'll see if we need to make a few tweaks there, and then if we have time, we'll hop over to Cesar and see how that goes. So that's mainly it. Yesterday we set up a lot of the scripting initially, and I'll demonstrate that to you. We'll go ahead and hop in game. I set up a test room so we can test just the enemy and the one script that we're writing for Julio. And so we'll be in a good spot in just a minute. And when he comes up, you'll see that we got about 3 or 4 waves done. I think maybe 4. Let me see here. Or phases, I should say. I didn't mean to say waves. So phases. 1, 2, 3. Looks like we got 3 major phases done, and we're working on a 4th. And I'm also waiting for just everything to load in. The first load, as usual, we load in all the sounds, and that seems to take a while. So while we're waiting for that, I'm just reading the boss scripting, and I'll let you guys see what I see. So that's what we got so far. Looks like we only have 2 punches and then an uppercut, and then he just sits stationary right there. I need a 3rd punch. Apparently that 3rd punch isn't in there yet. Thought for sure that was in there by the end of the stream yesterday, but apparently the counter is not working as I expect it to. So let's look at that first. We should see a punch counter. One thing I'm thinking about doing is creating a dynamic path script. We're basically creating a dynamic path right here on the fly, and if I just passed a couple of points in, we could very simply and easily have those points added to the path and then set everything up and run it from there. But for now I don't have that. I've just got everything kind of hard-coded right here, but that's not super essential for what we're working on. So looking at these different actions here, less than or equal to 2. Guess I'm going to have to do 3 on that.
Hi. Hey. Stinker pants.
Okay, so that should fix that pretty easily. And next piece I have is apparently an upward flying spit. Basically comes back down to the center of the screen. Again, I'm reading the script here. Okay, and then I think what I'm going to do is, for phase 4, I'm going to take a little bit of creative liberty here based on what I see on the script, and give him a little bit of a crazier pattern to follow. And for that, I think I'm going to add this script that I would like to add to create dynamic pathing. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. This would be a helper script, create script. Okay, the main thing I'm going to add is path points as parameters, and that will all be made via a DS map. I say DS list. Yeah, I can do it through a DS list instead of a map. Be a little bit more simple. The other things that I'll pass in here are what kind the path is, what the precision is, whether or not the path is closed, and I think that's probably it. Goodness. All right. And maybe I'll pass in one more, which will be what to do. No, I don't need to do that. The main thing is these pieces right here. And I'm going to take out the points and modify them just a little bit. Okay, I think I'm going to actually create two DS list of path points for X position. Two arguments. Argument 1 will be DS list of path points for Y position. And let's just shorten those. These are required. And this guy will be the kind. This will be precision. So I think I'm going to set some defaults here for each one of these. And these will be a little bit different. So argument 2 will be smooth. Arg3 will be precision, a 5. Arg4 will be a Boolean for true or false. We'll say false by default. And then we'll finish building these out. 3, 4. 3, 4. Closed Boolean. Alright, and since I already have these defined, I don't need these var statements. Just keep the variable itself. Okay, cool. Now, what I'm going to do for this DS list, I'm going to create a DS list over here. Create. Then we will go DS list, add, pass in the ID, which is now X points, and then the value. We'll do the same thing with Y. Y points, Y.
Make you feel better about yours?
Alright, so we've added our first 2 points there. I'm going to remove them from there. So that's the X position, and then the Y position is right there. There's probably even an easier way to do this, but this makes the most sense to me. Room height. X and Y. DS list add X points X. DS list add Y points room height divided by 8. Cool. I think that adds all of them that we need. And then when we get over here, we'll do a loop and let's reference one of my previous loops. Give me a for statement here, guys. Here we go. This is a good example. This will be for the DS list size of arg0, and arg1 will have the exact same size because that's just how we're going to make sure that it works. And at that point, we can add in here our point. It looks like we're going to have to pass a path in here. Maybe not, because we can create one here. Okay, I'm going to allow that to be overwritten as well. So that will be probably right here, arg2 equals argument 2. Actually, we'll just create the path here and we'll name it ourselves. DS let's create, and we'll call this path, just generic path, and then so this will be now 3, 4, 5. Change these as well, 3, 4, 5, and bring back up here argument 2. DS list ID. This needs to actually be 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. Jackal Gamer, what's up, man? How's it going, dude? I'll turn it down. Does that sound better? Test, test, check, check. 1, 2, 3. Should be a little bit better. Let me also check one other thing, see if I can lower it a little bit. Yeah, I think that's about as good as I can get it. I'm trying to look at the other options. I don't have a lot of other options. Alright. This one's argument 5. Let's going. Been working on my game for a bit, adding in items. Yeah, man, give me an update. Rework some things. Finally got the reworks done. Sweet. So that's normal. Refactoring code is normal. Sometimes refactoring sprites is normal. Although there's probably a different term for it. And this would be DS list ID. So if there is an argument 2, we're going to just destroy the one that we just created. DS list destroy. Is that an actual one? Which ID would be path, and then we'll just create the new one, and that'll be Is that even possible? Stream time elapsed. It also messed it up. Is also messed up. Oh shoot! Thanks for reminding me, dude. Let's update this. How about that? That should do it. Yeah, it'll update here in a second. Cool, thanks for the heads up on that. I think we don't, as I'm thinking through this, we don't need to redo the ID here. We'll just return the path that has been created. So at the very end of all this, return path. And let's just move everything back to the way it was, because I think that makes the most sense. Easy update. Okay, cool. So DS list size there. Notice how I'm getting it here, which is referencing it in this way. So what I need to do is arg0 at the I, and then this is my Y positions. So arg1 at the I, and then this is just path, and then we return path via this way so that the user can grab it out here. Just notice I'm not finished with the reworks HUD. Got all messed up. Dang it. Yeah, man. Feel free to share an update in via link or something like that, or whisper to me via chat, so I can check it out or something. Alright, so I think that's pretty much it right there. That should handle literally everything we've got here except for this. So let's bring these pieces up and change this reference. Okay, and this will be arg3, 4, and 5. Cool. And script create path. So I think we're in a good spot here. Let's take this guy and put him just kind of at the end here. Just keep it all together. Yeah, I like it. So now we can remove all these items. And then just call that script create path. Pass in our arguments, x points, y points, and then if we wanted to pass anything else we could. There's not a need for me to pass anything else right now, so I'm not going to. And I think when it's all said and done and we delete the path, we will go ahead and delete X points and Y points too. DS list destroy X points. So I think that'll be good there. And we do want to set this to, say for instance, Julio path. That's the reason why we're returning the path. And then when we start everything up here, everything else will fall into position as we expect it to. Let's go ahead and hit play on this. Make sure we didn't break anything in terms of pathing. Specifically, this will show us whether or not we got the uppercut correct. So we'll just let him run through his routine. There's the 3 hits. Looks like it partially goes into a 4th, and it looks like I got the uppercut incorrect. So it's not fully working as expected. We're going to have to do some testing. X points, Y points. Just making sure we've got everything set up the way I think it should be. Looks good to me right here. Love the hand boss. Yeah, dude. It's pretty sweet. He's got we have another hand on this one as well, so if I get to it, you'll be able to see him as well. He's pretty cool. He's pretty cool too. All right, X Y X Y X Y. Create these lists. Add points. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything on DS list add. Yeah. Everything looks good there. I can add multiple values if I want, but I don't need to right now. So we just add a couple. Let's look at that script create path real quick. X position, Y position. Let's look at this method. X, Y speed. Yep, coordinates are correct. X and Y. Oh, I see what I'm doing wrong here. Path add. Cool. That should fix it. Try again. Got a little bit happy with the DS list creates. So let's try again. There we go. Dynamic path, baby. Alright, so for this one, like I said, I want to do another path. I need to open up my loop variables here. I do have a path added here. I don't need that anymore. I'm pretty much going to do something very similar here. Okay, now there's going to be one thing I'm going to need to figure out about this. And that is going to be how to determine what path point he's currently on. And I'm going to change the action based on the path point. So let's go ahead and create path 4, phase 4 path started. False. Yeah, X and Y points, I'll put those in here in a second. I mean, a lot of this is literally going to be the exact same. So we'll say phase 4 equals false right here, and then probably have a phase 5. Let me look at what's after this. If Julio hasn't been damaged past his HP, he's going to give a raspberry. Okay, so we'll do a raspberry. We'll have him fly to the middle for that. That'll be phase 5. Else if here's phase 1. Alright. Still checking this out here. Since this is a scripting language, I'm guessing it's all interpreted. Have you noticed any performance issues? I noticed a lot of hiccups with some HTML JavaScript games I've played. It's pretty good as long as you stay within the boundaries. If you're not careful, the main thing they have to be careful for is code collection, or sorry, I'm drawing blanks. I'm really tired. Basically destroying objects, trash collection, that's what it's called. Basically destroying objects or sprites that you're no longer using, or memory stores that you're no longer using. So these DS lists that I create, or these paths that I create, should all be deleted or destroyed when I'm done using them. If you're not careful, your memory will just slow away everything. It'll, slow everything down majorly. Alright, so let's add these dynamic points. He's going to be at the very top of the screen. He's basically going to be at this X position and Y position at the very top. So let's go for point 1, we'll go X plus 30, Y will be Y plus 30, and yeah, this shouldn't be too difficult here. Let's go So I'm thinking I'm going to do a zigzag pattern on the right hand side of the screen, and let's have, it's going to start at the top left, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. So I'm thinking at least 8 points. So that's 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. Okay, so from here it's going to go like this, and y will be plus 60. X will be plus 30, y will be plus 90. Now I got to be careful, because if I'm up to, I've only got 240 pixels to play with, so that's my 1 2 3 and then 4 back to X, and then 120. Let's just try that and then see what we get. So X plus 30, Y will be plus 120. We're going to start climbing back up now. This will be X, Y will be 90, X will be 0 again, or just straight up what we are. Y will be 60, X will be current, and then Y will be, oh, I'm missing a couple here, so X plus 30. Yeah, cool. Y plus 30, and then we're going to pass one more variable here into the script helper, which will be, we want it to be a closed path. Right now it's false by default. I think this is probably the one that I'm going to control the most. So I would probably like to switch this to 3, 4, and 5 here. So I got to make sure I keep this updated as I'm moving. Update my script here to match what I just changed. 3, 4, and 5 will all be the same there. I've got some of my scripting off anyway. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. So this now becomes kind. This is closed Boolean, and you know what? I'm sitting here thinking the next thing that I would probably change is, it's a toss-up between kind and precision. Okay, last but not least, let's just update this up here so we don't forget. Precision, okay. I think we're good across the board here. Sweet. Also, how do you target different platforms? Normally, I would assume you can cross-compile, but I don't know if this is the case for GameMaker. Yeah, it is the case for GameMaker. Some of the platforms are available by default, and then some of them are a little bit extra money you got to pay for, like the module if you want to release to that platform. And the modules aren't that expensive. I think maybe at the most $50 per new module that's not already on there. So, not that bad. Okay, what I expect this to be is sort of like a figure 8 pattern, sort of, but like a long, drawn out figure 8 pattern, back and forth, and then back up to where it closes, and we'll see how that looks. So I think now the thing is, the path is going to get destroyed when it hits, when he finishes running the entire path. I can do path action restart, but I think I'm going to do path action stop for now. I did pass in, or I was going to pass in that it was going to be a closed loop. It's fine that if it's not a closed loop right now, but the main thing that I wanted to do was to get him to, once he starts moving, I'll say probably when he gets down to here is when he should start changing his action. So that would be point number 3, and I know there's a way to do this. I'm gonna have to verify it though. Path get number. Path index? Nope. I mean point X and point Y. I don't want to really use that. Yeah.
Check her out. Yeah.
This could go for it. Path index. Now, let me see what I'm doing here. Path position. Let me look at path position real quick. You set it to exactly the middle of the path. So really what I could do here is if we're at 0.25, if path position is 0.25, then we can just change the action. Action equals vertical. I think it's like spit vertical. Enemies, multi-level. Level 2, actually. Boss 2, animation, spit vertical. Boom. Cool. Let's try that. So this may look a little bit funny. I might need to stretch the path out just a little bit because it's going to be in somewhat of a tight pattern, maybe only going down to about half the screen.
We'll get her hair.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Huh. What's he doing? He's not following it, you jerk. Alright. Let me just think through this for a minute. Angry at the ceiling, I know, that's what it looked like. He did go into this pattern, which makes me think that his path position was greater than 0.25, which would mean that he was a quarter of the way through the steps, but it didn't quite look like it, you know. So let me just look at this for a minute.
I see you.
True basically means absolute here, which I'm kind of surprised by that. Why is this guy... It works exactly as expected, so I would probably expect not to change this either. Let's read off from the script that's trying to read it what those points are. The same thing with Y. Same thing with Y. Okay. So this will tell us exactly which points. The other thing I can do here is I can basically, as it's going through here, I can read what the position is, and I can look at the X and Y coordinates. I can look at all of it. Well, let's just look at what it outputs for the X and Y position as it's going through here. I thought I had it in a really good spot, and I don't want to change too much before I verify what it currently is. Oh, that was good. Okay, so we should have it all put in there. Is he moving or not? I can't tell if he's actually trying to move or not. Anyway.
Move it, move it, move it.
Yeah, so this looks actually pretty good. Interesting that the X and Y coordinates start out at 240. Or 200. Oh, Y is 209 for starters. And then it goes 120, 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 150, 20, 90, 60. Really, X should go back and forth between 270, 240 the whole time. And it's not exactly doing that. I'm not sure. I see 240, 180, 240, 270, 240, 270, 240, 270, which looks good to me right there. Y position starts out at 209, 240, 209, 120, 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 150, 120, 90, 60. Now that part makes a lot of sense. But why the X and Y coordinates start out so high seems a little bit odd to me. So let's give it a little help here. Let's go ahead and leave it at 240. Let's just say 0. So X will be 240 plus 30, 240 plus 30. Y will be 0 plus 30 plus 60 plus 90 plus 120. So now we're not guessing anymore what these positions are going to be, or letting them be set relatively. There won't be relative positions, I should say, to where the current coordinates are at when he starts the path. We're basically saying you are going to start here, and it's going to be based off of 240 and a 0 Y position. So let's just see what that looks like. Ooh. I think he's just, you know what, I think he's actually doing the path, but he's just going through it so quickly. Because we saw some movement right there. That was actually promising. So I don't think anything is wrong. I think we need to slow him down on this movement. He's going really fast right here. So let's just leave him at this path speed of 3 and not set the path speed at all. And see what that looks like. Also, he only went down about half the screen. So I'd like to stretch this out a little bit. And that'll be mainly based off of the Y positions. Let's change this to 45 though, these X positions that are marked as X plus 30. Okay, for the Y positions, we'll say 45, 90, 135, 180. Still needs to be bigger. 60. I mean, we're starting at 0, so we need to fill up the whole screen. So 60, 120, 180. And then this would be 240. Whoops, not 1240, 240. So same here, 240. This guy would then be 120 and 180 and 90. So he's going to go way slower, and he's going to take up more of the screen. Yes. So pretty close there. Let's just have him go. Let's do a couple things. Let's not destroy the path until we move to phase 5. Let's go ahead and make it closed, say true, so it'll continue to loop, and we have to make sure he restarts. And we will determine when we move to phase 4 and 5 based off of how many spits he's taken or how many times he spits. So as soon as we move into phase 5, we will delete all these other pieces. And instead of path position equal to 1 here, this will be, where are we at? We got spit wad counter here. Alright, similar setup. Spit 4 counter equals 0. Spit 4 wad counter equals 0. Spit 4 wad fired equals false. And spit 4 set counter equals 0. Actually, there won't be a set. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So we need to figure out the position he's going to be at when he's spitting upwards. So let's go look at that real quick. It'll be position image index 20. So let's just keep this very similar to how we had it up here. Honestly, I think I can grab a lot of the same code. Okay, so I'm only going to activate this I think I like the idea of it being activated once he hits quarter of the path, and I'm okay with that. Even if he's in the middle of spitting and he gets to less than 25 and his action is normal, he'll basically stop doing any of the spitting and continue on the path until he hits the spitting point again. So I think I'm okay with that. So let's just try that first. And let's just mark our variables here, our updates. And one last thing we'll do here is determine what the angles should be. They should not be very crazy. Technically they could probably all go up at 90 degrees, but let's keep them just a little bit different than that. 90, be 95, and this guy will be, whoops, let's look at that again. How do I have this set up? So this guy is less, so this guy would be 85, this guy would be 90, and this guy would be 95. keep it similar to how I had it. And so now he should spit up in the air, and we're determining which spit action he's taking based off of modulus 3, which will basically do something different with every third projectile. Well, it'll do something different with every projectile, but it will count up to 3 and have 3 variables, 3 different directions that the orb will fly. All right, and then here we would then say if path position greater than or equal to 25 and spit for wad counter is less than or equal to 8. Let's just keep it simple. If spit wad counter is equal to 8, let's say greater than or equal to 8, then go ahead and go phase 4, phase 5. Here we go to change to normal. So action equals normal. And probably move him wherever he's at to the center of the screen. And let's reset some variables here. Spit wad counter equals 0. Spit, and this needs to be 4. Yeah, 4. Spit for wad fired equals false. And I think I've got one more that I need to update. What am I missing? Spit counter. Did I even use that at all up here? I did. It was to determine whether or not he should still be doing the spitting motion, and I'm not using it down here, so I don't need it. I don't need it here, so I'm going to remove the variable that I don't use. And let's just give him an exact direction to go. Head towards center of room on right hand side. Okay, X position is good there. That's good. All these are good. If less than or equal to 5, then we basically turn into action equals raspberry. Let me make sure my action is set up like that. Cool, raspberry. So he'll just be doing the raspberry at the very end of this whole thing if everything goes well. Okay. Without getting into fine detail of making sure this looks exactly 100% right, I think let's just hit play and see how that goes. about to change. Alright, do your uppercut. Yes, look at that, guys. Oh my gosh. Oh man, almost. So we have him trying to delete a path maybe that doesn't exist apparently. 281. And that's probably down here. Interesting that it doesn't exist, considering we know it exists right here. Wonder if I can check for if path exists or not before trying to delete it. Let's try. I mean, interesting that it doesn't. Do I set it up as a var? No, it's not a var, so I would think that it's still attached to Julio as a property. Do I need to check for DS list? Do I say DS list exists? Nope. Alright, let's try it and see if we get an error right after that for trying to destroy X and Y points. We'll see. What's up, son? Sweet. So he didn't stop and do the raspberry, so interesting. Oh, I think I know what happened. Once the previous time, once it got here, it deleted it the very first time, and then the path no longer existed. So we'll just do this once, and we won't ever run it again until later when we need to. Path no longer exists. And honestly, I know I can remove this now because it's not running every single time. Now, why it didn't move to the position we wanted it to move at that point was a little bit interesting. Let's do a debug message here. Show debug message phase 5. just to 100% verify we hit phase 5. And it should honestly be moving. Maybe he doesn't have a speed. I think that's probably why he doesn't move. Yeah, he doesn't have a speed here, so we need to add a speed. Speed will be 3 for now. I'm going to exit as soon as it starts up so that I can get this applied into the build. And then so action here would be speed equals 0, and we'll just say we don't have phase 5 actually created here. False. But did we hit phase 5? No, we didn't even hit it. Oh, well, we just got out real quick too, so so phase 5 raspberry equals false, and we'll say if no phase 5 raspberry, then head in that direction. And then we can just say phase 5 raspberry, true. Do a raspberry, we'll have a raspberry counter. And we'll say this: if raspberry counter is less than or equal to room speed times 3. Maybe make him invincible. I don't know. Raspberry counter plus plus, else reset the whole thing. Oh wow. So I think at this point we can say phase 5 raspberry equals false, raspberry counter equals 0, phase 5 equals false, phase 1 equals true. Or maybe not phase 1, but we are going to need to send him off screen. So maybe that'll be the 6th phase.
That's a little chilly. You feel that air right there? No, it's a little chilly.
Phase 1 equals true, but then also initial entry complete equals false. These two may need to come later because I may need to create a phase 6 here. I'm trying to determine phase 6 literally should just be flying off screen.
Yeah, and she's losing hair in the back.
Mm-mm.
Did Liam do that?
Yeah, a little bit. So I'm just going through and making sure all of the initial variables are reset as they should be. So I am going to need to reset all of these up in here with this reset down here. So initial entry complete, initial hover started. And initial hover complete was false. Initial hover counter is already reset to 0 right there. Just doing some cleanup real quick that I noticed I can do. Cool. I mean, I think that right there resets everything. So we should be in a good place really to have everything reset. I may need a phase 6, and I think I'm going to go ahead and add that right here. That'll just be flying off screen literally. Super simple. And this will be going to give him some directions here. Gonna have him fly towards off screen. And the X position will be room width plus sprite get width sprite boss to Julio. The Y position will be just for now it'll be 2, or sorry, it'll be in the middle of the screen. Screen will be enter, or speed will be enter screen speed. Go, 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 and if distance is less than or equal to 5, then off screen equals true. And at that point we can do all of our resets. And pull these guys into reset. Off screen equals true. Have him stay off screen.
Hey, Rex.
Let's set this to true at first. And then once his initial entry is complete, let's set this to false. So he's off screen, false, and then set him to true again when he gets all the way off screen. And let's just make his X and Y position very similar to what it was at the very start, which is his position is going to have to be a little bit different than what it was, and it was created here. Let's see. This guy's X and Y position, which I'm trying to think where he gets created at. That would be in the controller, rooms, enemy test. Here it should be. Okay, here it is. So once he's fully off screen, X equals room width plus sprite get width, sprite lost to Julio. Y equals room height plus sprite get height Julio. So basically just resetting his X and Y position so that when he's ready to come on screen, he just flies in correctly. Kind of like up from the bottom right hand side of the screen. Man, I think that's going to do it. Let's watch his pattern and see how well this goes or not. So we'll just hit play here. Yo, 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 the Beastly Bro. Sounds good.
Sit. 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 Sit.
All right. This may be close to it, guys. Raspberry, raspberry, raspberry. Yeah, 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 you jerk. Did we hit phase 5? I think we did, right? Yeah, we hit phase 5, but then something else didn't trigger like it should have. Let's look at our code and see if we can make sense of it. Raspberry, that looked pretty good. Almost there. So he does all of his spitting. He does the raspberry, and then he flies off screen. Ah, I know what it is. I never started phase 6. Boom. So he just got stuck on showing his raspberry, doing the action of raspberry. So and I may slow that down and just say as soon as it may only be like one raspberry. Let me look at that. So let's just slow down the animation a little bit and make it a 2-second. 2-second raspberry animation. But let's look at the animation and cool, let's try that. I gotta change one thing. Phase 6 has to be false here. Don't really want it to hit phase 6 again once we get within the correct location.
Yeah, that dog was licking you. That dog was licking you.
What I think this will do is it'll keep him off screen. Well, it'll take him off screen, but he'll just start his loop back up as soon as he gets off screen. So he flew off screen. He is definitely off screen and he is gone, man. So that was a little bit too slow on the animation. So I'm gonna fix that really quick. It needs to be probably about a third quicker. Okay. I mean, the easy thing to do here is just to take all the loop variables in the create event and then just call a script, and basically that would reset everything. Is that what I want to do? Is that what I want to do? Is that what I want to do? Sure, let's do it. I mean, I tried to keep it clean all throughout. There's one or two things that I'm missing. I don't feel like fighting it and, you know, figuring out exactly what it is. So let's just go enemy, scripts, boss 2, script, boss 2, reset, loop. Maybe my argument passed in should determine which of the two bosses we're talking about here. Okay, so let's just set that up real quick. Okay, so we'll say update there, good there. Whoops. Since we got the whole reset loop here, we'll just reset the loop in the create event, and we'll just do that right here. And we'll run the exact same code right here. And that should do a big reset of all those variables and basically restart the loop. Yes, play. Can we prove that this runs? I mean, it has to run at one point. Reset loop. So literally it should run only once, or we should see it run twice if it plays all the way through the loop. In our debug messaging. Any early access? For arcades, there is early access right now. So, if you mean console, there may be. We'll have to. We haven't gotten that far yet. Okay, so we got all the way through. We should see that message twice. I don't see it there, but I do see it there. So it does the reset loop at the very beginning, and then it never gets actually past phase 5. Or it does get past phase 5. It stops. It just stops saying phase 5. It should make to phase 6 because we flew off screen. But we're never making it into his exact location where the distance, where we're doing the distance check. Is what I can see from, is what I gather from everything that I see. So we have a speed and a direction. We know he takes this. We don't need the debug message here for phase 5 anymore. I would like to see if this runs. It doesn't seem like this is running. Okay. Okay, now let's look at the debug messaging. Huh. He basically is having a hard time getting under 5, a distance of 5. I think the reason for that is because of how fast he's going. So let's say when he gets under 10, a distance of 10, he's good. Because his speed is something ridiculous like 10 or 13 or something when he's flying off screen. So let's make this 10 instead and see if that catches it. Oh, that's cool. Look at that. He's still raspberrying when he comes back out on screen, so that needs to be updated. Cool. That should reset everything. We did it. Got basically all the way through his scripting. Now, there are a couple of things that were a little bit off there. One other thing I need to do when I shoot those up into the air, I need to let them come down. And Skycurser needs to dodge them. So he did a raspberry. This is where he does the shooting up into the air. So I think instead of from left to right like the script reads, which looks a little bit odd to me, I'm going to have the bullets go from right to left. And let's create a bullet queue into the loop variables here. once these things get shot, are they getting destroyed when they fly off screen? I gotta check that real quick. Outside room. Whew. Object dire peb projectile. So maybe I need to make this a little bit different. Maybe I need to just make this object boss 2 projectile. Okay, so let's work off of that one. Object boss 2 projectile, and then outside room. We're gonna do this manually. So here we will say. It's very interesting that I was not able to flip this with the katana, but nonetheless. I'm going to leave that alone for now, but the main thing is if x is less than 0 minus sprite get width object peb dire object since we're getting the sprite is peb dire projectile with self instance destroy. Okay, so this is outside room. And I could also say or no, let's leave it at that for now. And we'll remove this guy, this event, delete. And so I like that. Let's change this to boss 2 projectile. I'm okay with making the depth the same as the object peb dire projectile. Make this boss projectile. Let's just do this right. Let's go to the script engine, depth engine, and add the boss 2 projectile. Done. That's simple. Okay. So once the queue builds up, I think we can just do all of this straight from the weapon itself. Outside room to the top. If y is less than 0 minus sprite get height object peb dire. That's actually supposed to be a sprite. Instead of doing that, then we are going to change the x and y coordinates. So we're going to do this redirected equals false. If not redirected, then set to redirected, but also set the X position to random range room width divided by 2 and room width plus 20. Y position will be fine where it is, and we're going to change the speed and direction. Speed equals 5, direction equals random range. Pick a random direction between 180, 225. Let's say between 200 and 250. That should be pretty good. So we just are controlling how that works. You know, when it flies off screen, we're instantly like turning it around and firing it at Skycurser. Let's see how that works. Alright, peace out to Beasley. Take it easy, bro. Yeah, look at that, man. That's what I'm talking about. Maybe even go a little bit faster with how those come out. I like that a lot. Let's make them go 8. Hello. Yeah. And that's it right there. So let's get this guy in level 2. I think I don't have to change anything right now if I'm not mistaken, except for starting us off on level 2. Okay, let's do it. Whole width horizontally. Yeah, it's going to. Yeah, it's definitely going to screen the whole width horizontally, span the whole width. That's one update that I have to make. Shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, it's actually going to be the third punch. Every time he punches the third time. So that's pretty much it right now. Alright, last thing I want to do is I do want to take care of that punch. The punch is a little bit off at the moment. Yeah, it looks good, man. Looks really good. All of it looks good together. I think the way to fix the punch is to slow it down just a little bit more, like very slightly. Because he's making it into the next image index too soon. So let me just find this real quick. Jab. So let's try that. It's about 1/3 slower than it was. That might look bad, but we'll see how it is. And then less than or equal to 2, else if jab counter is equal to 3. Sorry, I'm just reading this for a minute. Yeah, when I move to the bottom, it's resetting. Okay. If jab counter is equal to 3, same here. Room width divided by 4 times 3. No, what?
Duggar's now going to rehab.
Who?
Josh Duggar.
Oh, really? Jab counter less than or equal to 3, then determine whether or not to fire jabs. On jab counter less than or equal to 2, set the X position here, otherwise move the X position way over. I'm not sure what that's going to look like. But I do want to update this, so I'll go back to the enemy test room. Try again.
Josh Duggar.
Well, I kind of like that, but then there's a problem. He needs to move. He needs to move all the way back before he tries to do the uppercut. Yeah, so let's go. Like literally it'll just be boom, fly across the screen, and then you're back. Before you go phase 2, phase 3. Okay. No, that was a little bit odd. Yeah, I mean, I like that a lot better. Speed needs to be even a little bit slower on that punch. Let's go jab. Instead of this, let's go the speed right here. That might be too slow, but let's take a look. So I think I need to just prevent that extra animation from going altogether. So let me see if I could do that. Because if I do that, then I can just speed it up and it'll look a little bit better too. So we put it all the way back, which it is, and action gets set to normal here. How about we say, I think we can pause it. Right there, 27. 27. If floor image index is equal to 27. Let's say Maybe we can actually do something over in the animation script to force it right here. If arg0 dot jab counter is equal to 3, and floor image index greater than 27. Image index equals 27. Let's try that. Else. What? Okay. How did it just stop? Come on. He definitely jumped halfway across the room, so we know for sure he is at jab counter 3. What he didn't do was move back across the room, and I'm trying to figure out why that would be. Jab counter equal to 3. Floor image index greater than 27. But then he just stopped moving. Jab counter equals 0 right there. That was so weird, man. real? What is it that I'm missing here? Okay, so we're going in a loop. Apparently we're never making it into here. So why don't we just do jab counter plus plus in here. That would put it to 4, which would then reset it here. Try this again.
Got a little Swedish there.
Alright, I think that's good. Let's see what we got here.
Continue.
He started shooting those in the 180-degree direction. That was funny. That was a bug. That was really odd because we were way down here where he's shooting in the upward direction. Here it is. So we need to make this 90 instead of 180. Cool. Alright. Okay, so I think we got that to a really good spot, guys. I'm going to play this one more time. We pretty much got the whole loop running here. I like where he's punching. I like his movement. Mostly his speed is pretty good. There's one or two small things that I have to fix. I need to make it so that the katana destroys the instance of the boss 2 projectile. But then I think we might be moving on to Skycurser on the next stream. Should be like pretty close to that. I'm gonna let him hit me. I love that. That's pretty awesome. Okay, and the other thing I want to do is make the bullets come out of his mouth better here. So, and the other thing, you know, when he flies off screen, what's going to happen is he'll fly off screen and then Skycurser will come on screen. And he'll stay off screen until I get Skycurser down to a certain level of hit points. But he will continue, he'll actually continue on this loop until he is taken down to a certain amount of hit points. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I don't like that I can sit up here and not get hit by those, so I might make that a little bit more difficult. So anyway, I think we're in a really good spot overall. I don't want to spend too much time fixing up these little bugs and getting all the little pieces to go from 85 to 100%. mainly because that's the part that's the most time consuming and the least rewarding for you guys and for me as I'm building it. But that's something that we definitely take the time to do when we got everything, basically the framework and the scaffolding in place to do what it should do. So next stream we'll be introducing Cesar and his scripting, and he will just basically be working in tandem with Julio. And kind of the way I understand it is that when you get to the boss, you'll face Julio first. You'll knock him down to a certain level of hit points. Then Cesar will come out. You'll knock him down to a certain number of hit points, and then they'll both come out and be attacking you at the same time, and you got to take them both down. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It was a pretty good stream overall. I think we got through the scripting basically about as far as I could go without, like I said, taking it from 85% to 100%. So I'm really eager to get into Cesar, and again, I'll be doing that next stream. So thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate the support, and I will catch you guys next